May 19th, 2024. People woke up to see a rather bizarre news on their television screens. A drunk minor caused a hit and run case in Pune. Wealthy wardens trying to protect him and eventually delaying justice in a rather gross manner. For example, writing an essay. In fact, 37 out of 100 people in India die because of road accidents. Hit and run cases constitutes of half of them. 45% of the fatalities resulting in these cases can be prevented by use of proper safety devices. According to us, the problem in today's public and private transit system is a lack of indisputable Shayan Shah. According to us, the problem with today's Now a very important statistic that we would like to inform you we would like you to remember for the rest of this presentation is that out of 144 people and hit and run fatalities per day in India, just 18 cases have faced convictions. According to us, the problem with today's public and private transit system is a lack of indisputable and transparent data, resulting in obstruction. So, what is the solution? There exists a standard port in every four-wheeler devices, which is called the OBD2 port. That allows us to monitor and record data that's from the sensors which are installed in the vehicle, and our solution takes advantage of this tech.
So let's talk about the OBD2 port. It has been an industry standard since 1994, and it is located just below the steering wheel, making it perfect to be accessible by any driver. It offers real-time telemetry data from the vehicle, like speed, acceleration, every other metrics that's available, and does so in a very continuous manner. That is, there is no delay about getting the data. That being said, it is also compatible with IoT operations, making it ideal for our project. I cannot emphasize this enough, but let's move to the first part of our project, introducing the white box. So the white box is connected directly to the OBD2 port, and it monitors the telemetry data that is coming out of the OBD2 port in a continuous manner. It looks for statistical deviation of the data, that is, it finds whether there is a difference between a normal driver's driving or there is an unnatural driving. It is always connected to the internet using its Wi-Fi model and GSM model, and the data is securely and privately transmitted to the vehicle information chains, which we will elaborate upon later. And it is a perfect blending of IoT with blockchain technology. Moving on, let's talk about the architecture of the whole white box. If the device has not been initialized, a standard set of procedure will continue. It would actually make sure whether there is consistent hardware connection and consistent internet access. After the device has been initialized, it will it will loop over a process which looks something like this. It would wait for 500 milliseconds. It will collect the telemetry data from the OBD2 port and process the data. The interesting part over here is the next step. If it finds the statistical deviation from the data, like a driver has not been driving properly, or there is an unnatural pattern over his driving style, or may just be an unnatural event of crash, it would then flag the the data in the temporal window, and after that, if there is internet available, it would immediately push the data to the vehicle information chain. Otherwise, it would securely stash data locally such that there is no tampering of data at all. Let's move to the second part. It's the vehicle information chain.
So now we have the data, the current problem is to store the data securely and in a manner that cannot be tampered with. So for that we use blockchain. So why blockchain? So very briefly, blockchain is probably the most secure way to store data currently known to tech. It is mathematically almost impossible to tamper data stored in blockchain. So that's the reason why we use blockchain, and we have developed our own blockchain for this to make it more energy and cost efficient. So after this, the main part of this is the economic scope for this project. So currently in 2024, the motor insurance industry is $11 billion. That is a market that we directly address to. And so how does our project actually help the insurance industry? Very briefly, the main problems we know with insurance industry can be thought of from two different perspectives, one from the consumers and one from the insurance agencies. So the consumers are really frustrated with the delays and the cumbersome process of claiming. And the insurance agencies they have a really expensive and long process to actually investigate the claims. So our project gives them concrete, intangible and irrefutable proof in the form of data to process these claims and investigate. Just to expand further on the market, the global insurance industry, motor insurance industry will hit to the $1 trillion by 2026. Again, a market that we directly address to. And yeah.
Suggest you go through patentability analysis, because I have done the patent filing in the month of May. This is from Netaji Subhash Engineering College. So they have done something like this. Not exactly. So that is why if you go through that patentability analysis, who has already done something else, so you can improve upon it also. That you have mentioned the distance, na? So customize the distance. If you got some distance, that some erratic driving, so what to do? Suppose someone also, suppose the four-wheeler also have this system, and two-wheeler in front of that four-wheeler also you install this system. So two-wheeler in his danger. So if he gets the information, immediately he can change his route and something like this. So you can also mitigate that gap so that it may be improved. So I will suggest, please put it in our patentability analysis and you get more data, and afterwards you go through this and file for patent. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Not exactly the same thing, that is why I mentioned you just it is 2 months back. So all the data is not in my mind, but because many patents are filing, I'm doing many work. So I'm suggesting them, you take a note for that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our topic for this project is a one-stop platform for all government schemes. All the information related to any schemes will be shown in this platform. We can directly apply to any schemes directly through the website, and also we can report any problem to the government through this website. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Can I answer, ma'am? It will be a government website, not a private website, ma'am. No, ma'am, it is not a private website. We are giving some suggestion to the government to implement these features. Like they can create a website where all the schemes will be available in one platform. Right now, if I want to apply for any scheme, then I have to visit that particular scheme website. Yes, that I am describing. If the government accepts this website will take the Aadhaar card number of the user, then log in. Can I just show the demo? Yeah. So this is our log. Actually, so actually there will be a login page. So this is our login page. If any user comes here and enters his Aadhaar card number, valid Aadhaar card number, that will be checked by the government database. If it exists there, then only he can log into his profile page. Then a profile page will open like that. We will access the government data, not the private one, the government, and it will his all data will be filtered. Okay, like government have every data of us, my age, my name, my where I live, everything. So on the basis of that, this website will filter only those schemes that are available to that person only. Okay, so there are two sections. One is the user that he is already getting benefits from, and the another one that he can apply for. Like there may be some schemes he is not aware of. Okay, so from here he can get that knowledge that okay, this scheme I can also apply for. Okay, so after clicking to this particular scheme, okay, the user don't need to enter his data again. If he clicks on apply now button, all his data will be fetched from the government's backend data, and automatically the application process will start. Okay, and it will be applied for that scheme. And we have another feature. If suppose can I tell it speak in Bengali right now? ধরুন কোনো একজন ইউজার কোনো একটা স্কিমের বেনিফিট পাচ্ছিল, এরকম তো আমরা অনেক সময় দেখেছি যে কোনো একটা স্কিম হঠাৎ করে হয়তো পেনশন হতে পারে বা কোনো স্কলারশিপের টাকা হতে পারে, সেটা মাঝখানে গিয়ে বন্ধ হয়ে গেল কোনো রকম কোনো সমস্যার জন্য। তো সেই সময় সেই ইউজার তার প্রোফাইলে এসে সেই পার্টিকুলার স্কিমের মধ্যে গিয়ে তার যে কনসার্নড ইস্যু আছে সেটা সেই রিপোর্ট নাও এর মাধ্যমে গভর্নমেন্টের সাথে ডাইরেক্ট কমিউনিকেশন করতে পারবে যে আমার এইটা ইস্যু হয়েছে। Then government can resolve it by their backend side. And so this is our whole idea. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, but they don't provide the individual profile, ma'am. They provide the list of the schemes. Yes, it is all the schemes are there are many apps. Okay, we have done a research on that, but they don't provide us the individual profile that okay, these schemes are allocated for me only. Okay, if I belong from a minority community, then I cannot apply for Swami Vivekananda scheme. I can apply for Oikostri scheme. So these schemes are showing because this person is a beneficiary of these schemes only. Sorry, ma'am. Yes, all the data will be retrieved from the Aadhaar card details, because when I enter my Aadhaar card number, then the government database has all my data access to his মানে গভর্নমেন্টের কাছে সেই ডেটাটা আছে। তো গভর্নমেন্ট সেটা থেকে আমাদেরই ওয়েবসাইটে যেটা কি করবে সেটা হচ্ছে ব্যাকএন্ডে গিয়ে এই সমস্ত ডেটাগুলোকে ফিল্টার করে আমাকে শুধুমাত্র শুধুমাত্র সেই সমস্ত স্কিমগুলোকেই দেখাবে যেগুলো আমার প্রোফাইলের জন্য অ্যাপ্লিকেবল, এলিজিবল। Yes, sir. Now Deepa wants to we can switch to apps whenever we want. It is now website based, but we can switch it to apps right now. Yes.
ম্যাম অ্যাকচুয়ালি এই ক্ষেত্রে হবে কি, ম্যাম সেক্ষেত্রে আমাদের একটা মানে সেপারেট চিন্তাভাবনা রয়েছে। যদি আমরা গভর্নমেন্টের ডেটাবেসে অ্যাক্সেস না পাই, তাহলে আমরা একটা কাজ করব, সেটা হচ্ছে যে যখন আমরা লগ ইন করছি অথবা সাইন আপ করছি, তো সাইন আপের ক্ষেত্রে যখন কোনো একটা নতুন পার্সন সেখানে সাইন আপ করতে এসছে, তো তার সামনে একটা ফর্ম দেবো, যেখানে প্রথমেই আমরা তার থেকে যাবতীয় তার যত তথ্য রয়েছে সব একবারে নিয়ে নেব, এবং পরবর্তীকালে যখন সেই ডেটাগুলোকে আমরা ফিল্টার করব, তখন তাকে যে সমস্ত স্কিমগুলো সে এলিজিবল সেগুলোকে আমরা শো করছি। এবং যেহেতু অনেক অ্যাপসে সিমিলার টাইপের একটা ফিচার থাকলেও তাদেরকে প্রত্যেকবার নতুন নতুন করে তাদের ডেটাগুলোকে বারবার দিতে হয়, বাট আমাদের অ্যাপের ক্ষেত্রে যেটা সবচেয়ে ডিফারেন্ট জিনিস হবে যে তাকে আর এক্সট্রা করে বারবার সেই ডেটাগুলো দিতে হচ্ছে না। সে যদি একবারই অ্যাপ্লাই নাও করে, তাহলে সেই প্রসেসটা কন্টিনিউয়াসলি চলতে থাকবে, তাকে আর সেপারেটভাবে কোনো ডেটা দিতে হচ্ছে না। তাই তাকে ইয়েস ম্যাম। হ্যাঁ, সেই জন্যই তো ম্যাম যখন সে প্রথমে সাইন আপ করবে, তখন সেই ফর্মেতে আমরা সমস্ত কিছু ডেটা প্রথমেই নিয়ে নেব, যাতে পরবর্তীকালে তাকে আর সেপারেটভাবে কোনো ডিফারেন্ট ডেটা দিতে না হয়। Yes sir. Yes sir. Okay sir. Okay sir. हाँ sir. Ma'am. Ma'am, is it possible কি একটা যদি সিটিজেন ইনফরমেশন সেন্টার থাকে, সেখান থেকে তো আমরা সেই ডেটাগুলোকে পেতেই পারি, রাইট? তো এবার সিটিজেন ইনফরমেশন সেন্টার থেকে
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
মডার্ন বাস ট্র্যাকিং সিস্টেম যেটা হেল্প করবে বাস ট্র্যাকিং করতে আমাদের নিয়ারবাই লোকেশন থেকে। তো বেসিক্যালি এই যে ফিচারটা আছে আমাদের সিস্টেমের প্রিভিয়াসলি মেনলি এটা এখন ওয়েবে আছে, তো ইন ফিউচার যদি হয় তো এটা অ্যাপে আমরা কনভার্ট করার চেষ্টা করবো অবশ্যই। সো এটা আমরা হোয়ার ইজ মাই ট্রেনের মতো ইটস ইন্সপায়ারেবল। হ্যাঁ ম্যাম, আমরা ওটাই ট্রাই করেছি। ম্যাম স্পেশালি ইউনিকটা এটা হচ্ছে আমাদের যে সাপোজ আপনি একটা জায়গায় আছেন, সাপোজ আমাদের এখানে, তো এখানের আশেপাশে যে নিয়ার বাই লোকেশন আছে এই লোকেশনটাকে আপনার ফোনের জিপিএস থেকে ট্র্যাক করবে, আর ট্র্যাক করার পর আপনার পাস বাই হয়ে যে নিয়ার বাই যে বাস স্টপেজ আছে বা যে রুট হয়ে যে বাস যাবে তো সেই বাসের ডিটেল দেবে আপনাকে। হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ অবশ্যই। হ্যাঁ ম্যাম, এটা ইমপ্লিমেন্টেশন করা যায় এটা। হ্যাঁ এটা করা যেতে পারে পরবর্তী ফার্দার ইন্টিগ্রেশন করে। থ্যাংক ইউ ম্যাম। হুম especially basically tracking GPS, the GPS system দিয়ে মেন মডেলটা আমাদের জিপিএস। Yes, GPS, your phone GPS, and মানে ফোনের জিপিএস আমাদের যে আছে ইনবিল্ট সেটার সাহায্যে, আর যে জিপিএসটা ইমপ্লিমেন্ট করবো আমরা আমাদের বাসে তার মাধ্যমে একসঙ্গে। হ্যাঁ থাকবে। ওকে ম্যাম, ওকে হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ ভিতরে থাকলেও ওকে ম্যাম। অফলাইন মোডে একটু ডেটার বেশি একটু সমস্যা হবে, তাছাড়া নাহলে হ্যাঁ ওকে Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah, different, yeah. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Mondol. So what is bioluminescence? It is simply the phenomena of living organisms which emit light. There are several organisms in our marine environments like crystal jellyfish, which is known for its green fluorescent protein, the bitter oyster mushroom, and of course the bioluminescent algae, cyanobacteria and photobacteria. All of these organisms have this beautiful phenomena of bioluminescence, and this mechanism of bioluminescence is the backbone of our entire project. The luciferin-luciferase synthesis it is a biochemical pathway which there are a series of reactions, and all of these reactions lead to the production of natural light. Now, our target is to integrate this phenomena into plants so that we can completely eliminate, not completely, but to an extent reduce energy consumption through electricity, and of course we promote biodiversity, rural implementation, and several other benefits. So the basis of genetic engineering is gene isolation, gene insertion, and plant regeneration. Gene isolation and insertion, it is simply taking the gene which produces the light and integrating it into another genome, the restriction enzyme, and forming a recombinant DNA. Now this recombinant DNA can be produced into plants, regenerated into plants, and then we can select the transformants and regenerate them and make sure that they grow well in the climate, in the environment, in the natural habitat. For example, in Kolkata, we have a very tropical climate. So to make sure that they grow well in these environments, we will definitely continuously monitor them and finally implement them completely in the field. So we will also move over to pilot testing and monitoring. We will measure the intensity, the consistency, how they perform, and if any further genetic modifications are required, we will do so. Now, to make sure that this is feasible, there have been 3 case studies, one in the US, one in France, and definitely another in the Cambridge, USA. Now, all of these have targeted the use of bioluminescent plants to produce bioluminescent lighting, urban bioluminescent lighting. This is for France, Gluey. They actually used the genes in the labs and performed the entire mechanism. The outcome was installation, public awareness definitely, and energy efficiency, which is one of the main targets of the entire project. Bioluminescent walkways in Cambridge. Now this is a very special one because it utilizes the UV from the sun during the day and produces light during the night. So all of this, if it can be done in other countries, why not India, right? What's unique? Apart from all of these case studies, if these have already been done in different countries, what's unique in ours? We will be looking at climate-specific plant selection so that plants show the maximum sustainability and maximal results. Community involvement. We will take feedback from the communities, what the people think, and definitely genetic engineering techniques that also promote synthetic biology. Further key steps will be public awareness. We will gradually implement them. First, we will implement it in high visibility areas like botanical gardens and places where people can actually visually understand. And then we will definitely follow the maintenance protocols for sustainability and viability. This is the entire time frame for the project. If and when it is done, it will take approximately 2 years and 9 months, starting from initial research and feasibility, then the genetic engineering and lab testing, the pilot testing and monitoring, and gradual urban implementation. The total time frame will be of 2 years and 9 months. And finally, the feasibility and future prospects. I would one day love to hope that our city looks like this. It's beautiful, it's sustainable, and definitely it also increases the oxygen levels, and all of the pollution problems that we have, light pollution and all of those, they will definitely decrease because it also promotes biodiversity, ecosystem, climate change mitigation, innovation and technological advancements, and educational opportunities for students. So that's it for my presentation. Thank you very much. No, ma'am, not yet.
Idea is good. Idea is very good. So you, if you can do in future, it will be good. You need to carry out this because recombinant DNA technology is very common. However, the idea is good. So how you incorporate this idea? So carrying out this incorporation, if there is, and you have to optimize the genetic engineering process. So optimization of that particular process for creation of more efficiency, increase the efficiency of more production. And so you have to optimize the total process. So here in this optimization process, you can get patent. In future, if you want to in future study, you may take up this because it's a very good idea. And I will be very happy if you can implement it. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
They have been only able to produce a dim light, stable light, but only the electrical and the plant there, but it's a very, very dim light. So to enhance expression of the dim, that is a very complex data. People are doing it, but somehow the physiology of the plant gets disturbed. So it silences the dim from outside. So you need to watch the fundamentals first. Anyway, future
efficiency. How you can enhance the efficiency and without disturbing the exact biodiversity and climate and all this. That is another issue. That you have to speak about.
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I, Namrata Tigga, is presenting an innovative idea on the topic Energia. By the word Energia, there comes a picture of energy. So, this project is all about energy. As we all know, there's an increase in waste, which is harmful for our environment. So, this project is an idea to convert waste into electricity through heat energy. So my project is a solution for waste management and creating electricity for different places. It is an innovative idea. It is an innovative idea to putting waste into furnaces which will burn the waste and produce electricity through heat sensors which will be converted into electricity through various heat generator. This video shows the model, how the process will be happening. Through the furnace, the waste will be burning, and through the electrical generator, the electric bulb will be lighting up. This project involves the processes of waste collection, sorting the waste, feeding the waste into the furnaces, and combustion at high temperature, and heat production through the heating sensor, and heat transfer through the heating absorbing panels which are used in the systems, and electric generator, which is the thermoelectric generator used in this process, and electricity distribution through power supplies in various households and businesses, and gas emission, which will be controlled by the filtration system. There's a drawback in this project. There's the initial cost of this project. The cost is a little high, and the maintenance, because we require skilled and efficient personnels to operate this project, and emission of gases, which will be controlled by the filtration system, and energy efficiency may be a little low than the other renewable resources. Plus the waste sorting is, we have to sort the non-combustible and combustible substances before putting in the furnaces. Ma'am, it requires a lot of like, it will provide employment to the various people, and that people will be like sorting it out from the dumping. Like, ma'am, there. Yes, ma'am, like sensor based, yes, ma'am. Numbers. Throwing up the, yes. It will be really easy for the, yes. Okay, ma'am. No, ma'am. Ma'am, like after the combustion of the substances, there's a ash. We can use that ash in building, like buildings, and it can be used as a manure in various fields, and it can be used like that. And that's all. Thank you. No, sir, because it requires a little bit time, so yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the idea, but it can be implemented through various processes. And thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and my respected teachers. I am Adrija, and we have developed an idea of an AI-powered software named OpenAI. The internet, while being a vast resource for information and connectivity, is plagued by the surfacing of explicit content. This not only endangers the safety and well-being of its users, especially teenagers and young adults, but also poses significant challenges of creating a secure online environment. Moving on to the research made on this topic, the previous researchers were the Meta and NCMEC collab, NCMEC being National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, Instagram, and Oxford University. Now Tanisha will discuss about our app OpenAI.
So good afternoon everyone and my respected teachers. To overcome these problems, we have made an idea of the app that is OpenAI. So I'm going to mention the features and the workflow of our app. OpenAI will follow real-time monitoring system and some AI algorithms to detect any kind of explicit content, and so that it can block it from widespreading on the internet. It will also provide online safety and safer internet usage. And we have also focused on the wider user base. Like we have mentioned in our previous apps, in our previous slide, the previous researches made on this topic were only, each of them has only targeted the minors, means below the age of 18. But nowadays, people of all age groups are facing these problems. No, ma'am. There is no, in any kind, there is no apps. AI-driven system is there. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, we have that workflow and I'm going to show it, please. Like, whenever the user is going to access the camera and the gallery, they will have a notification regarding their terms and conditions. And whenever there is an explicit content on the user's gallery, the app will scan it and send a notification stating that OpenAI has detected some explicit content in your device. Do you want to save or delete it? If the user click on save, that content will be saved in a private secured folder. And to access that private folder, the user have to enter a correct password and he has only 5 attempts to enter the correct password. Let's say the user has already entered the wrong password at the 5th time. That folder will be blocked for a certain period of time, and after that the user can access that folder by using any kind of biometric lock like face detection or fingerprint sensor. Now, if the user click on delete, that photo will be deleted from the device permanently. Now we have another feature, that is our app will send a notification that if they want to scan the web either continuously or hourly or daily basis according to the user's preferences, it will scan the web engine continuously and hourly and daily basis and send a notification if they found any kind of explicit content shared on social media like Instagram, Facebook or Twitter, and it will also have a counter that states the circulation time, that how many times it has been circulated the user's photograph. It can be any kind of AI generated photograph. Like we know the Tollywood actress Rashmika Mandanna has to face it. There is a deepfake video that was created by AI. So basically we want to kill AI using AI, and that is our main target, and we have developed an small demo of our app. First one is about the terms and conditions. As you can see, OpenAI will send a terms and condition notification. If the user click on agree, they have the terms and condition and that on the link part, and the terms and conditions are there. Next one is the scanning part, means whenever the user, whenever the app scans any kind of explicit content in their device, like let's say I have sent him a explicit content and that has been detected in his device. OpenAI has sent an alert that we have detected an explicit content in your device. If the user click on delete, that content will be deleted from their app, from the device. It will show. If he clicks on save, it will show in the private folder. It will be saved in a private folder, ma'am. And there is a folder. Okay, safeguard. Sorry, ma'am. Ma'am, okay. I have created that content blurred, but that will be a normal photograph. That will be a normal photograph. Means that picture will be a normal photograph, explicit picture, because of the presentation. We have blurred it. Ma'am, any kind of content that has been sharing for a certain period of time, we will see that. No. What? Before saving in WhatsApp, like there any kind of chats, like Instagram chats or Facebook chats and WhatsApp chats, we can see that by opening it. Here it is blurred. We have made it blurred.
But before saving, we can see it.
Yes, we can see it. So, next is we can add that. We can also implement that. And the next part is that notify us that if the user wants to scan the gallery continuously or daily basis or hourly. Like in this case, he has selected continuously, and there is also a drop down that shows close call. There is also a drop down that states there is a hourly. We have developed the small parts because we have a little amount of time, so we couldn't. Okay. Yes, ma'am. We want to develop this. Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Yes. Yes, ma'am. And there is also another part that we have done, that was the notification when OpenAI will scan the wave. Like here, this one is the notification that we have made. Previously we have mentioned the workflow because I was explaining that, and this is the notification that we have made. Yes. Okay, ma'am. Thank you. That's all.
So as we know that disasters are an inevitable part of our life, we cannot stop it. But what we can do is that we can reduce the damages it causes to us by doing this. We have created an Arduino-based system that will monitor and alert to address these challenges. This system continuously monitors environmental conditions, detects the living beings, and provides early warnings through remote alerts utilizing temperature, pressure, motion sensors, along with wireless communication modules. It enhances disaster management by enabling quicker response times and informed decision making. Now I'm going to focus on the objectives of our system. So mainly the objectives are real-time monitoring. We will continuously monitor temperature, pressure, and motion using temperature sensors, pressure sensors, and motion sensors. We will provide an early warning to help prevent casualties by detecting hazardous conditions. We will also identify the presence of living beings, whether there is actually any living being present in that hazardous or a disaster zone, so that we will detect that and we will send an alert to that to the rescue team so that aid can be sent. So in order to help that person. And also remote alerts that send real-time alerts. So every process we are sending an alert to the user at every time. We are sending continuous alerts to the user or to the one who is actually handling the system. Now I'm going to ask Ayush to vividly explain the working of this system.
So the whole methodology of this system works like at first we need to strategically deploy the whole devices like in more disaster prone areas, and to initialize this we all need to, the main focus of this whole system is how to place this device. We can, yes, suppose it is flood, we can install this system in a drone. We can make this like that. Yeah, we can, it's there already, but drone monitoring is there, but yes, but we are also including the CNN vision thing in this, which with which we can detect the exact manners, or we can make the AI understand that what it's gonna look for, like for panic and everything.
And different customization has been done on so
it's not only drone.
Drone and this customization with alert notification, real-time data collection here. So it has already been done. I have seen documents. So you just go through those documents. Editability and documents that even Google
Yes.
And to these obstacles, what is under these obstacles? If you can have some system.
Yes, we can have that. Yes, yes. For that we also have the idea for that. Yes, yes.
ম্যাম অ্যাকচুয়ালি দ্য ফ্যাক্ট ইজ দ্যাট যে আমরা যে সিস্টেমটা বানাচ্ছি ইন দিস কেস এটা অনেক ক্ষেত্রে ব্যবহার করা যেতে পারে। লাইক মাইনিংয়ের ক্ষেত্রে কী হয়, মাইন যখন ধসে পড়ে যায় সো ওখানে অনেকজন স্ট্রাক হয়ে যায় অ্যান্ড এমিট হয় একটা ডেঞ্জারাস গ্যাস, তার জন্য অনেকে মারা যেতে পারে। সো আমাদের যে সেন্সারটা ইন দোজ কেসেস সেটার মধ্যে যে সমস্ত সেন্সারগুলো থাকবে অ্যান্ড দ্য সিএনএন প্রসেস, এখানে এই সিএনএন প্রসেসের সম্বন্ধে বলছি আমি, যে ও হচ্ছে বেসিক্যালি কী করে রেকগনাইজ করে, ওর প্যাটার্ন রিকগনিশনের একটা এআইটা বেসিক্যালি। সো একটা সাধারণ মানুষ আর একটা বিপদগ্রস্ত মানুষের যে সমস্ত মানে ফেশিয়াল এক্সপ্রেশন, দ্য প্যাটার্নস তো অফকোর্স আলাদা হবে সাধারণ মানুষের থেকে। সো দ্য প্যাটার্ন যেহেতু আলাদা সো ওভাবে ওটা ডিটেক্ট করতে পারে। ম্যাম আমি যেটুকু ইয়ে করেছি সেটাতে আমি দেখেছি একটা মাত্র ডিভাইস সব কিছুতে কাজে লাগানো যায় না। সো আমরা চেষ্টা করছি সব ধরনের যে সমস্ত প্রবলেমগুলো রয়েছে, যে সমস্ত ক্যালামিটিগুলো রয়েছে, অলসো উই আর জাস্ট ট্রাইং ফর দ্য ল্যান্ডস্লাইড থিং। আচ্ছা হ্যাঁ, মানে একটু ডাউন হওয়ার ইয়ে আছে, বাট উই উইল ট্রাইং, আমরা ট্রাই করছি। না মানে বেসিক্যালি আমাদের একটু টাইম দিতে হবে, কারণ দেখুন একটা ইয়ের মধ্যে হ্যাঁ 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 অফকোর্স 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 অফকোর্স